What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Notaflexion Gaming. Today we are looking at Dreamscale Ruins Sundered Sanctuary, the Abyssal version. Okay, so guys, I know you think this is going to be the same thing, which it's pretty similar. I will admit it's very similar to the original dungeon. But I'll tell you right now, this one's going to be a lot harder. Just saying that. So straight off the bat, mobs, avoid them like the plague. They are a pain in the ass in this one. Specifically the healers. If you do not kill them, if you don't DPS them down, they will heal fully themselves and their little buddies. Not only that, but they take damage like a cushion, dude. Like, they will take a lot of damage without dying. So just be wary of their HP and just try not to pull any of them if possible. As you can see here, we did the exact opposite and pulled them all. Luckily, we had a lot of good DPSers in our group. And if you guys are looking at my numbers saying, oh, these are the numbers I'm putting out, do not go by these numbers. I'm actually running the wrong blessing this whole time, so just be wary of that. So you should be doing, like, for guillotines, like 68 minimum, like around 100,000 actually. So just yeah, take this for what it is. So like I said, get around the mobs, try not to pull them if possible. The healers can do a lot of healing, and it's a pain in the butt, so just avoid them. Alright, now that we're with the Black Sun Captain, the biggest thing with this guy is, remember that time when he used to throw his spears into the ground and hold everyone to the ground and throw fireballs out? It wasn't a big deal. Now it's a giant deal. When he does that, you guys need to avoid that like the plague. That will basically set the whole arena on fire, and the ticks from that damage is insane. My suggestion is, if you can't avoid the fireballs coming out, actually dodge out into the fire ring around the edge, because it'll do a lot less ticks, and if it hits you, the fireballs hit you, it'll put the fire on the outside of the ring at least. So you're keeping your teammates from getting smashed by the fireballs, and you're only taking a couple ticks from the fire on the outside. So just try to avoid getting hit by those fireballs. When he throws the spears into the ground, get out of there and just stay back as far as you can. You can slip between the fireballs. You just got to be really keen with it and just try to be nifty and just slip right through. Besides that, the Black Sun Captain is going to be very similar. Once again, he has a crazy damage check on, I believe it's at 80, 50, and then 20. So just save your big hitters for that, because the Abyssal version of the Black Sun Captain, his damage check is a lot tougher. I've seen it before where a lot of guys get stuck with this. So here's you go. Here's the fireballs. They're coming this way. I'm going to try to slip in between, like so. Just like that. Now, like I said, if you happen to get hit with it and you happen to put the fireballs in the arena itself, then just try to kite him away from the fired area, the fire that's on the ground, kite him away from that, and attack him in that unfired area. So there you go, at 80%, he's going to go into his damage phase. And just use all your big hitters for this. And there you have it. That's the Black Sun Captain down and out. Now, this next area, as you can see, we left a couple of those guys still walking around. The next group of mobs that you're going to run into is going to be 2 healers and 1 guy that causes bleeding, right? So now when you guys are going up into that area, you can actually kite them and just pull one healer at a time with a range class. And you can actually do it with a melee as well. If you walk up nice and slowly along the wall, you can grab one healer, bring them back toward the fire, beat them up, and then just take on the healer and the other blade guy. So my suggestion here is if you got a ranger or a mage or a priesty boy, just shoot one of the healers, bring them into you guys, DPS them down, and then work on the other two. This is exactly what we're going to see here. We're going to hang out. We're going to let one of the ranged characters grab the group, or grab the one guy first. There you go. He grabbed one. Bring him in, and just DPS him down. Now, normally, guys, I wouldn't show us just beating up the mobs during a dungeon, but considering how strong these mobs are, and for some teams, this could be harder than some of the actual boss fights, so that's the reason why I'm showing this right now, because I've seen people get extremely upset about pulling multiple healers at one time, not being able to DPS both healers down, and then having an issue with getting past the mobs themselves. Okay, that's for the second boss. So for this, guys, I'm actually going to show you all three Abyssal frogs for this area. So first we have, I believe, it's hands, then axes, then coins. So we're placing markers down for hands because what you're going to want to do with this guy is he's going to go into a phase where he yells something basically saying, we enraged him because I have the shield on. He's going to come over, he's going to do a couple attacks, and then he's going to do his normal jump up and smash down, which does no damage at all. So when he does this, you guys should all be on top of him, like literally up inside this guy when he does this. If you do that, it'll avoid placing hands around the arena. Now the hands from this guy in this version of the Abyssal does a lot more damage. So right now, see, we weren't all right up inside of him. We were kind of pushed out a little bit. So the area is kind of good. It's a pretty good cluster. But you want it even tighter than that. If everyone's on top of him when he does that attack, which is not even really an attack, you'll keep the cluster super small, which is what you want. Because when he calls his hands in that go down the row, you need a lot of DPS to get those killed. I would actually say save your big attacks for that specifically. So then there you go right there. And again, that's a smaller cluster. It's pretty good. So we'll do this around 2 to 3 times depending on when he goes into his phase. And then what we'll end up doing is we'll end up taking the hands that are in the center of the arena. That way it's fully clear. So just be wary of where you're placing the hands when you're clustered up, and then where they're gonna come out. So right now we're actually gonna start on the edge here which is a terrible idea. And then I move into the center, which is where you're supposed to go. And then we DPS this down. Like I said, these guys take a lot more damage. I suggest saving your big hits for this, actually. At least 1 or 2 of your teammates should save their big hitters for this. Just to avoid getting stuck. Like I said, see the hands right there. You can only make the cluster so small for the hands. So just try to avoid just making a large area of that. Once again, I'll say this one last time. When he does his hands attack, when he jumps up and smashes down, then the hands that pop up, that jump up and smash down does 0 damage. So you can be on top of him when he does that, and you'll be totally fine. So once again, we're going to start in the corner, work him around, and do the same thing, rinse and repeat. Okay, so for Axeman, Hadawi. So Hadawi's pretty simple. He does the same attacks as he did before. He'll throw axes up in the air, they'll fall down, just try to avoid them. The guy with the shield. Now, it's very important that you want to keep the shield on you as long as possible. I think I get him for a little bit here. The shield does go away there. You want to keep the shield on for one specific reason. When he starts doing his crazy large axe attack, what you can do is you can kite him around the edge of the arena, keeping the large axes he throws out of the area. So you'll see what happens. He'll start doing a giant, it's basically like a hailstorm of axes that fall down. So right there, I lost my shield again, which is not good. You want to hold on to that shield as long as possible, because now he's going to go after somebody else. Ultimately, it's okay, because he's not doing his giant axe attack yet. So right now he's getting enraged. He's going to start doing his thing. Now, what happens is he's going to focus somebody. He's going to start doing his little, it's called like an axe dance. He doesn't actually do damage there when he's doing that. But the axe array, you see that's falling down, and that does crazy damage. So what you're going to do is, similar to what the archer is doing now, cut him around the edge of the arena, but you want to focus the axe circles closer together. So you'll see a little further in, I actually get the shield and I finally do it the correct way. You want to keep these circles close together in a confined area, basically. Spreading them out like this isn't a terrible idea. It works, and I can see why he's doing it, because he's a ranger. He wants to get further away and shoot. Makes perfect sense. I think it's great for a Zerker to have this, because if you're cutting him around the arena, you can just hit Whirlwind, and you don't really need to worry about getting hit by him, because like I said, the attack that you see him doing, he actually isn't doing any damage or attacking. It's just that circle that comes down that is the actual damage. So right now he's back into his regular phase. He's throwing small axes down, which still do quite a bit of damage. I would say the one attack you need to worry about when he's doing his regular damage is the axe throw right there. That does crazy damage, and it leaves him bleed on you, which is a lot more than you'd expect. So right now I'm actually waiting for him to go into his thing. So yeah, I was going to die anyway. Alright. So now he's throwing his axe. Avoid that. Alright, so he's going enraged again. So now watch what I do with my guy. Now, although I'm not attacking this time, so he's not doing any damage to me, it's only the circle of falling axes that actually does damage. So as a melee, you can just slowly walk away, and you can attack while you're doing this. Just be wary that, you know, when that circle does pop up, you want to dodge roll out of it. Here I was actually just teaching the guys how to do it, and I just completely forgot to attack at the time. But luckily we had a lot of DPS here, so I didn't really need to worry. Likewise, when he does those, like, that dance of attack right there, it doesn't do anything to the shield at all that you're wearing. So, once again, you should have the shield the whole time, and you shouldn't really need to worry. Now that he's back to doing small axes, then you guys can go back and DPS him. Like I said, you want to keep the circle axes that are falling from the sky kind of on the edge. I kept them, they're a little further in for my liking. I should have kept them further out, but that'll work because they're not really in anybody's way. And just look at how long they last. So the ranger did that on the first set, and they're still there. This is why if you place these in the center or all over the place randomly, you're going to have a lot of trouble because these are there for the whole fight, basically. And there you go, that's Badawi down. Okay, so the last guy we got is Coin Guy. Coin Guy didn't really change much. He's very similar to what he was previously. Just note that he does spawn 3 poison frogs. These poison frogs can be kited, for the most part, with DPS, and you can kite them to the edge of the arena, which is what you want to do. You want to push these to the edge of the arena because when these 3 poison frogs do spawn, they drop pools of poison, and the ticks from the poison do quite a bit of damage. It's pretty similar to the damage on the outside of the arena. So just keep them to the edge if possible. This is probably the easiest frog out of them all, I would say. I would say Axes is also very easy. I would say Hands is the hardest part. So those are the 3 poison frogs that he popped. At the time, my guys had no idea what those frogs were, so they just popped them, and obviously you can see the poison pops up. Note as well, when he does call these poison frogs in, he does put a reflect shield on, so hopefully you guys don't smash him with anything heavy when he does that. Alright, so that's all 3 poison frogs out, and then he spawns the little guys as well. So now, just note, don't forget about the coins that he shoots out. Whoever has the insignia above their head, make sure to call it out and get to a corner. Here, our guys had no idea who had it. Oh, he had one guy who actually never ran, I think, Sundered, or they just forgot about the insignia itself. And they were just running around a little bit. And you just gotta pay attention because your teammate can't just stay in one corner the whole time. They do need to jump back and forth a little bit. So just be wary of where their position is and just try to avoid them if possible. And there you guys have it. That's the last guy down. So it's pretty much the same thing. Just easy rinse and repeat once you guys start getting the hang of it. Alright, last but not least, the final mobs in this area. If you follow my moves exactly when I'm getting around these guys, you will not pull these mobs. And trust me, you do not want to pull these mobs. They, like I said, they're a pain in the butt. You don't want to bring them into the final boss room. Hug that fountain, circle around, stay on the right side of the stairway. Last but not least, we have Manaya. So the High Priest Manaya can be a huge pain in the butt for the Abyssal. So first things first, let's talk about the mushrooms. The mushrooms now, instead of just doing circular attacks, they will spawn red orbs that do a bunch of damage. I would say on average, I would say my Berserker class can take between 3 and 4 of them before I die. Same thing, her lightning attack you just saw there, that is most likely an insta-kill on any class, even my class. I think even a satyr with high defense, I think it would kill them almost every time. So you see the red balls that are popping out there. The waterfalls will not kill you with one shot, but odds are if you get knocked up by one, more than likely you're going to hit by a second one, and that will kill you. Her damage phases are the exact same. One pops at 80, one pops at 35. So pretty much you just want to DPS the crap out of her with her lightning you're seeing here. So the lightning has changed a little bit. So now when the lightning is on you, it doesn't just stagnantly hit you. There's also a thunderbolt that comes down and hits the ground. So what you want to do is when you see the green light that comes around your feet, that's a little darker than the regular lightning, you want to dodge roll or jump away from that. Also avoiding your teammates. You want to stay in a corner, stay away from everyone else. Note that when you're getting hit by this lightning, if you touch a mushroom, it will push that mushroom in the opposite direction that you're in. So let's say you're in the center of the arena and you happen to hit the mushroom and it's closer to the wall than you are, it'll push it towards the wall, which is good. I mean, the odds of you being able to do this easily is very hard in this dungeon. I'm not gonna lie. We've done it before, but it's very tough. So, with her, if you have the lightning on you, you see the thunderbolts coming down, just jump away or dodge roll out of the way of that. Try to avoid the mushrooms as well, because they can hit you with their circular attack or orbs, and that could kill you as well. It does a little more damage than the original one does, but it should by no means kill you. So once again, her damage phases are at 80% and 35. Save your big hits for that. Her DPS check is not nearly as bad as the Black Sun Captain in the beginning, so no need to worry about that. You do need to worry about the waterfalls as usual. Obviously, they are an insta-kill. So here's her Thunder down again. And like I said, if you miss that, that is going to be an insta-kill. This is one of those dungeons you just need to take your time with. So 2 things I want to know here. Let's say you don't get past the damage check. It's not the end of the world. You could technically still finish the Abyssal. If you do fail the damage check and you know you're going to fail it, make sure you run to the corners of the arena. Each corner of the arena will keep you safe from 2 things. If you fail the damage check, she'll do a lightning attack that hits the whole arena, which will instantly kill you. If you are in the corners of the arena, it will not hit you whatsoever. Same thing, if you were about to get her down to 11%, she'll do the same thing she did in the original dungeon. She'll go to the center and do the same lightning attack that hits the whole arena. Same thing here. If you miss this, if you're not in a corner, it will kill you. So when you see her get to 10 or 12 or 11%, you want to get to a corner as soon as possible. My suggestion is whoever has aggro, pull her towards a side or one of the corners itself. Because that way when she goes to the 11%, she has to run all the way back to the center of the arena before she does her lightning attack. That's my pro tip for this one. So kite her towards the edge or one of the corners itself, get her down to 11%, and then make her run all the way back to the center. Last thing I want to know with this is, when she's in these phases, this is your prime time to do damage. So God forbid the guy who's getting hit by the lightning dies, you'll miss out on all this extra damage you're able to do, which will make this a lot harder. So that guy who has the lightning on them, you want them to stay alive as long as possible. So right now, she's at 12%. I'm cutting her over to the corner. I'm going to hit her 1 or 2 more times. And then she's going to go back to the center. About 11%. There she is. Hang out in the corner. And I think some people stayed out in the middle and got killed. Let's see here. Just 1 person. So there you go. So if you're in the corner, you won't get hit by that. If you are not in the corner, you will get smashed and die. So that's really the general playthrough on Abyssal Sundered Sanctuary. Like I said, High Priest Minaya, she's kind of a pain in the butt, especially with all the mushrooms popping the orbs. Just do your best to avoid that. And once again, that lightning coming down, just you cannot mess that up. You have to kill, or you have to get out and then get in. If you miss that, you will insta-die. Once again, the orbs, they do some damage, like they're 3650, and then the circle attacks do 1600. So once again, guys, that's the Abyssal Sundered Sanctuary. I hope this guide helped you out a lot. We ran this about 6 times, so that's how I pulled all 3 different frogs. Once again, I appreciate you all. If you like the content, hit that subscribe button. If you like the content, hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. Do all the things. Check out my Patreon for that sick, sweet merch. It helps me also make more of these videos. If you guys need anything else in the future, just hit me up. Thank you, guys. Peace out.